Hi guys, welcome back.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
I think we started an accidental series with our episode from last week.
Yeah.
And I think we just want to kind of continue with the theme of identity almost.
Yeah. Yeah. Identity with, I guess, relationship with God.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was really inspired by a story that a friend told me a couple of days ago. He's in recovery, and the first time he went into recovery, he said he got clean. He had gotten married. He had a daughter, and he was like in his early 20s. And it was just like, okay, like my life is like I'm getting the things in my life, and it's like time for me to do it. And he was clean for 10 years. And then a couple of like really hardships happened in his life. And he said he went right back to drinking and drugs and whatever. And then, you know, after a couple of years of that, he had gotten clean again. And since then he has been clean for, I think it's like exactly 18 months. Mm-hmm. And he was just like telling me a lot about his story. And what was like really interesting to me, because I didn't know, you know, I wasn't there when he was going through any of that stuff. I said, why is it different now? What makes it different now? You know, you have gone into recovery so many times, but, you know, you're saying now that it's very different. And basically the bottom line is that it was never for anybody. I'm sorry, before it was for other people, mm-hmm. for my daughter, for my wife, for my family, or just what's like expected of me now because I'm like growing up. But he said the last time I got clean, it was for me for the first time ever. It was my choice. And not only was it my choice, but it was my choice with God because I know he's very faithful. And I was like, so where does God come into all of this? You know, where is God interwoven into your recovery? And he said, the last time I got clean, when I made that choice for myself for the first time, he basically said, like, I shouldn't be here. You know, I shouldn't really still be here based on my choices, but I am. And there had to be a reason. And the only reason he claimed that he was still here was because of God. So it was basically like that wake up call, but then that realization that there is a God and there is somebody there with him. And he also said, which really stood out to me, is that he said, you know, that time in the past when I had gotten clean for when I got married and when I had a daughter, he basically said, like, I had everything. Mm-hmm. Like, I got clean when everything looked good. I got the wife, I got the daughter, I got the house, I got the things, you know. And then he said, but this time I had nothing. Like nothing, like my marriage fell apart. I was like, I didn't have a nice car anymore. You know, he's like, everything in my life was ugly and falling apart. So to make that faithful decision with God to get clean when you have nothing made such a difference. And that's like, that part really got me, you know?
I find it to be like, while doing things with God, it changes from it being a chore for other people to actually wanting to do it to better yourself. It's almost like if you ever had to like clean your house, I'm sure you could understand this. It's almost like when your parents make you do it, it's kind of like, well, I don't want to, but like I'm being told I have to. It's what's expected of me from everyone. I should be doing my chores. And so you do them just because you're told to. There is no love behind it. There is no reason why you feel like you should do it. But then once you get older, or I find as I've gotten older and found more love in God, it's become more of a, I should do it just to keep my house clean. I should do it because, of course, there's going to be other people coming over, but it's just good for me in general. It keeps the sickness down. It keeps all the allergies out. It's almost because you're doing it for you now, as you just said. It's you're doing it for you and you're doing it for God instead of doing it with no purpose. A life without purpose is a dead life.
It makes me think of, I feel like there's so much brilliance in AA. I always did. I've always been fascinated by it. I think it's the brilliance of the program in and of itself has always interested me. But I always knew the wisdom of if you don't make those decisions and those choices for yourself, you're bound to fail. And it made me like hearing his story made me remember my own story. Like I was like, wow, I'm that 16-year-old girl making every wrong choice, doing everything that I wanted to do in the way that I wanted to do it, which was harmful to me, harmful to the people around me, but just continuing on in my path. And knowing like I'm powerless to do anything to change. I'm powerless to do it. Like I have really good parents. I should really want to be better for them. I have a really good set of friends. I have good this. I should really want to be better for them. And I never did. And I never could until at the end of the day, the decision was mine. It was my choice. It was for me. And yeah, there's benefits to these choices that we make for the people around us. But it was never, I always knew if I'm going to make better choices, it has to be for my own self. Because if I'm doing the right thing or the better thing for the people around me, when those people let me down, and they do, then, well, why would I even bother anymore? Like I could even see his circumstance. I could see him being like, I'm a good dad. I'm a good husband. I've worked so hard to keep this together. And then when there's a betrayal or a letting down or something doesn't go that way, it's almost like you can almost feel the voices rise up in you and be like, all of that work that you did, worthless. Why even keep trying? Just do what you got to do, you know? And it's like, that's the danger that I think we're all in when our choices are made for the benefit of other people. Not that we shouldn't be good for other people, not that we shouldn't strive. It's like what you said, you don't clean the house because I told you to. You clean it for your own self because it makes you feel good. And it's like, I think we all get stuck in the cycle of sometimes people pleasing, and then you people please and you people please, and then it fails anyway. And then you just look at the person and it's like, why even bother anymore? And that's where those lies come in. But when you do it for yourself, it's like, okay, I can do this. And then when you add the power of God into the mix of it, and you realize I'm actually not alone, because he may not give me what I want, but he doesn't go. Mm-hmm. He doesn't leave. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the beauty of that testimony of his, because it's a true testimony. Like I see the wisdom in it. And I think like we all could use that lesson no matter if you're in recovery or if you're not. I think it just builds who you are and gives you power versus the victim identity versus the powerlessness.
Yeah, I can almost see a visual of a person, you know, deciding that they're going to go into recovery and get clean, and like there's just people around, right? And it's like they get lost. Like I can see the person getting lost in like the crowd of wherever it may be, and it's wavy, and it's like everybody's like kind of on the same level, and whatever is happening around you affects you on the inside, affects you in the middle. And I think, James, you had said it once before, you build your foundation on sand. And when everything around you is falling apart, then so do you, you know? But hearing your part of your story and saying like, when I do it for myself, when I know I can't do it on my own, I have to do it with God. I almost can see a person like standing tall, you know, they stand taller, they stand stronger. You can actually see like, I don't want to say like a statue, but the foundation is on that rock. And the whole entire world could fall apart around you, but you don't fall to that. And it doesn't mean that hard things don't happen or hard things don't hurt, but it's the falling all the way down and never imagining getting back up.
I find with boxing, I don't know, I've told my mom about this. I don't know if I've told Marissa, but it's like when you fight, it's not exactly easy, especially the before the fight. It's almost like there's two different versions, two different ways this could happen. It's either you feel the whole weight of the world, you're doing it for everyone else, so everything's on your shoulders, everything weighs you down, everything goes to your legs and burns you out quickly. And you get in there that first round, you do whatever, good, bad, anything, and then you come back and sit down and it gets even like worse, I almost feel like. But when you kind of shift off that weight, once you get rid of that mentality, once you finally do it for you, it doesn't matter anymore. Not that their opinions don't matter, not that they don't matter, but what they say doesn't matter. It's about you and this other kid. And what happens is it gives you that normal spry back. It gives you that spring in your step. And when you step into the ring, you end up usually doing better. And that's why I like to dance around, do jump rope, do something before I fight. That's why I try to always do something. I find that keeps me on my feet, keeps my almost activity up. When I keep my activity up, it keeps me up.
There's so much. I also would like to like circle back to your victim identity. I think when we do things for other people, we like feed that victim identity that we have. Like, it's like, how dare you do this to me when I've done so much for you. I did this for you. I did this for you. And then it's like you said, like, people are going to let us down. Yeah. And maybe intentionally, maybe based on their poor choices, but maybe just because they're human and they didn't even intend to hurt us, but something that happens hurts us that bad, you know? And I just think that the identity is not, like you're saying in the boxing ring, if you get knocked out or whatever, or you get, you know, you lose a fight, like your identity is not crushed under the surface because of it. It's just what happened, you know? But it's like, if you go into the boxing ring and you've worked so hard and you've not done it for just this is what I love to do. This is like me and God doing it together. You work so hard and you get in the ring and you're like, what was the point of me even working hard for all that time and losing the weight? And, you know, it's like, you can do that and go in and lose and still stand tall, rather than becoming this like, well, it's not even worth it anyway. I'm pointless. I'm worthless. It's not fair.
I find that the victim identity and how you said it's almost like, it seems like almost like a revenge. And it's a grudge. That's what it is. Usually, if you do that and you're like, you get off it for whoever and they abandon you, you instantly hold on to that grudge. You get angry and you go back onto all that stuff to try to get back at them, to try to show them, this is what you did to me. And in fact, now you're the one getting hurt. You're not hurting them. They've moved on already. It's now all of that hurt is just on yourself. That's why I do say, I mean, obviously it's not easy, but the best revenge is forgiveness, because it's the fact that you can finally let go. They don't have control over you. They don't have power over you. And it's a understanding that we're on equal ground now.
And it's almost like you're not getting your way. So it's like these people were supposed to be supportive of you. They give me, it's like the thought of everything's good as long as we're good. Everything's good as long as you're approving of me and I'm approving of you. But the second you get a no, or the second you get something, they do something that we don't like, it becomes like you want to hurt them then. I'm thinking of, I was so young, but I could remember like when I was little, I wanted to be able to walk to the deli. It was just something I wanted. And my mom was like, no, you're too young. Like, you're not crossing that road. There was a big road we had to cross to get there. It's too dangerous. You're not. And I remember being like, how dare you tell me I can't go? Like, my friends are going. I want to go. You can't stop me. And I remember like doing everything in my power to try and make my mom change her mind. Like, you have to change your mind because I want this. And it was to the point where I got so angry at her. I was like, I'm going to pack my bags and I'm going to run away. You know, like that young person run away. I'm going to run away and I'm going to show her when I'm gone and someone kidnaps me. Because when I was young, we always thought we were going to get kidnapped. It was like, don't get into the big scary van. Don't do this. You're going to get kidnapped. Don't take candy from a stranger. I was like, I'm going to take candy from a stranger. I'm going to end up kidnapped. And then she'll know how mean she is. You know, it's like I became this total and complete victim. But I was nobody's victim. But in my mind, all I could see was like, you let me down. You disappointed me. You didn't give me what I wanted. And now you're going to pay. It's mind-boggling how deceptive the brain is in that way.
I want to say, though, it's almost like she was trying to protect you, though.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
I mean, of course, that always happens as kids. You want to go somewhere and you don't get what you want. And it's almost like they put the rules down. And so you're like, well, I'm just going to break them. I'm going to show you. And then, you know, you just broke the rule that's trying to protect you. That you're going to get in trouble, of course. But also, God forbid, something did happen. Something bad did happen.
Then she's going to pay. Revenge.
But also, you're going to pay.
Of course. Rationally.
It's the same thing. It's why I find that it's kind of funny. Like, don't go into the cookie jar. And the first thing a kid does is typically dig into the cookie jar.
And eat 5.
That's me. That's me.
Did.
I would do that. I'm not going to lie.
That's it, you know?
And make no mistake about it, a victim identity is not of God.
No.
You know, it's sneaky.
So sneaky.
It's sneaky. I mean, it happens to all of us, but it's not of him. And then you can just really fall into that trap and it becomes a spiral. Mm-hmm. You know? I think this whole conversation is also related to faith. You know, I think unless your faith is your own, it can never be real, you know, like real, authentic, like deeply rooted, because maybe you're just like doing it for somebody else. You know, I'm thinking about if like someone comes from a very, you know, faithful family and you have to follow all the rules and you have to do all the things. And it's like, I just do this because I'm told to, and I just do this because I'm supposed to. And there's really good fruit that comes out of that. But unless at some point there's an actual conversion or reversion of your heart, it's not going to withstand, really.
No. I mean, you really just described me. Like, I came from this family. Like, my father is a deacon. My mom is a lector, a Eucharistic minister, ministry of consolation. I mean, my parents were all in for every ministry you can ever imagine. And I could remember being like at a certain age and being like, oh my God, like, when is this ever going to end? Like, when can I stop having to go to church? When can I, you know? And then the reality of that was just it. I went through the motions of the faith. I made my sacraments. I did everything, but I didn't have that. It wasn't my choice. It was a choice that was kind of like given by my parents, which they're supposed to do. Like, they're supposed to do that because the graces, whether I accept or receive them, are still there. So I got everything that I ever needed because my parents knew enough to get me baptized. They took me to my first Holy Communion. They got me confirmed. I had everything inside of me. But those gifts, just like a present that's sitting under the tree unwrapped, sat there unwrapped for a good 24 years. Until I decided that I was going to open myself up and receive the gift that was given to me in this faith that my family gifted to me. And once I chose to open that gift, well, let me just tell you, that is the gift that just keeps on giving in real life. Like, it is that gift that just keeps on giving. But it had to be, I had to make a conscious decision. I'm in. I'm saying, yes, I want this. I want to be changed by this.
You can't say the yes for someone else. And it's you can't force someone to sit down at the table and then eat a meal you prepared. It's, as a kid, you know, your parents make dinner and sometimes you love it, sometimes it's not your favorite meal. But either way, usually you eat it because, you know, you want to. You kind of have to in order to survive. And I feel like that's kind of how everyone who's grown up in like a Catholic Christian household has lived for the beginning parts of their lives until they met Christ. It was going through the motions. It was taking everything and just eating it because it was placed in front of you. You didn't know what it meant. You didn't know you needed it to survive. It was just, you did it because you were told to. And the difference is, when you grow up and you prepare that meal for yourself, and usually when your parents make a meal, it's a good, healthy meal. When you have that meal and you prepare for yourself and it gives you nourishment, it's an understanding that, like, you know what? Thank you. Thank you for having me do that. Thank you for having me go through and getting, baptism and confirmation. Thank you. Because now I know what to do and where to go.
Yeah. And I think that thank you can come when you're young, when you get it, or it can come 20 years later or 50 years later. Like it's never lost.
No.
That gift will stay under that tree unwrapped for as long as it needs to. And sometimes maybe it's at the very ends of one's life. And guess what? It's still there and it's still worth it.
Yeah.
I mean, you could be like my dad when he would sit at the table, as he says, for 3 hours until 9 p.m. until he ate his broccoli, and then he didn't, put in the napkin and the whole thing. So, but
I mean, broccoli sucks. I totally agree with him on that. Broccoli is not good.
The wisdom of the dads keeps on coming. But yeah, I just, that the image of the gift is so beautiful. And also I think, maybe some people who are listening haven't had the graces of their childhood either. That doesn't mean that your gift isn't there either, waiting under the tree for you to open, and I think in being, in moving forward and then like sharing it with other people, it's like, you were my mentor. You introduced me to this whole journey, and everyone's journey is different. That's something to be said also. Everyone's own spiritual journey of recovery, life journey is always different.
Everyone's meal is different.
Exactly. I didn't learn from you by learning a list of rules.
No.
There were rules that Janine told me like 6 years in. I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, well, I just, I'm like, oh my God, I didn't know. I just didn't know. And that made it more authentic. Then that made it more mine. It made it more my own my own choice. It was even bigger. It was even bigger. So I think the way you can then share your journey, your faith with other people is just by your own story.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like the heart of this podcast, really. We're not here to tell anybody what to do. Yeah. We're not here to ask anyone to be who we are, but we are here to just share our story and share our stories of faith and hope.
Yeah. And I didn't appreciate my parents when I was young for what they were trying to do with me. I couldn't stand them for it. My siblings, we were kind of all the same. We were just like, oh my God, they're so annoying. And the reality is that's just a cycle of life, right? Like so many people have the same thing. It's like, oh, I don't want to go to school. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. But as parents, like, that's kind of what we do. Like I could remember my father saying one of the words of wisdom that he gave me when I was young. I mean, my kids were always going to get their sacraments, but one of the things my dad would say is like, everyone should have something. Like everyone should be given something. And when I started to really get into my faith and start to know it more, I didn't know the wisdom. Like the best part I learned when I learned about the sacraments, because the sacraments are supposed to affect this change in you. They're supposed to give you something. They're supposed to make something happen. You're going to be different. And I remember being like, well, I wasn't different. For so long, I wasn't different. And I think one of the coolest things that I did learn was it's always about the yes, but the sacraments always give you what they say they're going to give you. So if it's going to give you the Holy Spirit in baptism, and you're going to receive wisdom, knowledge, understanding, courage, awe, if you're going to receive all of those gifts, you're given every one of those gifts. You have them. They are there. All you need to do is receive, be open to receive them. It's so funny because I feel like God is one of those, like, I feel like he's just standing right here. He just stands right next to you and he's like, are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? And then it's just like, you're like, well, maybe a little bit. And he's like, okay, yeah, take this, And it's just such a cool thing to know that it's not by our goodness that the graces come to us. It's not because we're so worthy and we're amazing and we're this. They're just there for you because he loves you. And it's not, and I loved it too when they say like the priests, because like, well, priests are sinners too, and pastors and whatever denomination of Christianity you are, they're sinners too. Yeah, they are. And in Catholicism, we believe like the sacraments are effective not because of their goodness or their perfection or our goodness or our perfection. They're just there from love. It's like just a present under the Christmas tree, and just unwrap it when you're ready. And then you can have everything. I just think that's such a cool little lesson that I learned. But it's always about it's about me. Mm-hmm. It goes back to the beginning story. It's about me. It's for me. My choices, my decision, my yes. And I love you. You know, I love my husband. I love my kids. I love my parents. But I'm going to let them down. Mm-hmm. And they love me, and they're going to let me down. And that's okay. Like, I'm still safe, you know? And I think that's the beauty of AA. It's like the knowledge when they go in, because I do love AA, they go into that program and it's like, your family's going to let you down. They're not going to do everything for you, but you have this higher power that they want them to enter into, so that they know. And when they do let you down, you're still safe. And you're still worthy because you made this choice for you. Mm-hmm. And what a beautiful like gift that is to yourself, I think.
Yeah, we discussed that Matthew Kelly in some of his books, one of them being Rediscover Catholicism, spoke about AA and quoted how lucky people in AA are because they know that truth.
Yeah.
Where some people who maybe haven't, you know, had to make that choice for themselves because things look better on the outside, are just in the same boat as the rest of them. But when they go into recovery, they have they face that reality way more than some other people do.
Well, you're not a victim anymore.
Exactly.
I'm not your victim.
Exactly.
I'm not a victim. I'm a hero. I'm standing up for myself. I'm making these choices for myself. I'm going to be better because this is what I know I'm ready for. You're not anybody's victim. You have power restored, no longer powerless or helpless or stuck. It's like, put on your cape. Superman.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Wow.
Anyone have anything else?
No.
Tiny miracles?
Tiny miracles. My tiny miracle is that a friend read a book that she thought would be really good for me and Janine really to read. And she bought it for us. And it made me feel so seen, like that I was thought of about that book. And I can't wait to read it. So it's my tiny miracle.
Wow. I love that. My tiny miracle is my sister-in-law, Caitlin, had everybody over last night to celebrate my father-in-law's birthday. He had passed away in June, and it was his first birthday that he hasn't been here, and everybody just got together, and it was just really cool to just be at her house, and my sister-in-laws and like the cousins and stuff, and everybody just like supporting each other and loving each other. And there was like a joy. I mean, I didn't get to stay that late. I stayed for a couple of hours because I wasn't feeling my best, but the joy in the house was so beautiful. It made me feel like my father-in-law would be so happy for that joy. That's my tiny miracle.
Well, my tiny miracle is that my dad made empanadas.
Oh, and they were so good.
They were so good. Thank you, Dad. Make them again, please.
I'll have some too if you're making them.
I love them.
That's great. Well, this was like, you guys obviously don't know this, but it's a Sunday and we just kind of like within 15 minutes we're like, we should record. I don't know. This is going to be a great story. So I guess that has to be like another little tiny miracle. Woke James up out of bed.
Yeah, I didn't even make this plan. I wasn't a part of it. They just told me to roll out of bed and I was like, okay.
Time to go, James.
Yeah, I was like dead asleep and my mom walks in and she's like, we're going to record. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I was hoping he would wake up.
It was good. So, yeah, I don't know. I feel like that's kind of a miracle also, like getting the opportunity to, hear that story from a friend and then it just, sparking and inspiring this conversation. So, but. And
if you guys could just remember to like, subscribe, and share. We really greatly appreciate it. It really helps the podcast. If you want to comment on Spotify or Apple or YouTube or anything like that, that's also really helpful to us. But just keep sharing because that's just how it grows. So thank you guys.
Yeah, the faith and the podcast.
Yeah.
All right, guys. See you next week.
See you next week.
I'm on the bus, octopus.
All right. Sounds good.
That rhymes, right?
Sure.
Yeah, it works.